Why does the heart keep on pumping blood? What happens when the heart stop pumping blood? So the engine of life, an anatomical end and function overview of the cardiovascular system. So in this lecture, we're going to start with the anatomical overview of the cardiovascular system, moving from the structures of cardiovascular system, the layers of cardiovascular system, how blood is circulated throughout the cardiovascular system. So let's start. A closed circuit for total body perfusion. The cardiovascular system is a closed network of the heart, blood and blood vessels. So when you hear the word cardiovascular system, we are talking about the word the heart, the blood and the blood vessels. So the heart, which we all know what is heart, the blood is now the fluid flowing through the blood vessels, and heart is what we all know. The blood is now the fluid flowing through the blood vessels, and the blood vessels is now responsible for taking blood all over the body. So what are the core functions of the blood vessels, or what are the core functions of the cardiovascular system? One is the transport of oxygen, nutrients and hormones. So they transport oxygen throughout the body from the lungs and excrete carbon dioxide and metabolic waste, and also transports hormones through the blood, through the blood vessels, and regulation of the body temperature and pH. So when your body fails, or when the cardiovascular system fails to supply blood to a particular area of a body, or to the particular area or region of the body, what happens? That region automatically becomes cold and becomes polarized depending on the time. So we have heart position in the thoracic cavity. So the heart is located at the mediastinum. And approximately, the heart weighs 250 to 350 grams in adults. So what you have to know is the pericardium joins the heart to the mediastinum. And this is the surface landmarks and major vessels. So we're going to be taking them one by one: the superior vena cava and the rest, the aorta, the pulmonary arteries, the right and the left atria. So we're going to be starting one by one, and we're going to finish. We have the three layers of the heart. We have the layers and walls of the heart. So what are the three layers of the heart? The three layers of the heart is the pericardium, the myocardium, and the endocardium are the layers of the heart and also the walls of the heart. So first, the pericardium is the outermost layer of the heart. The myocardium is the middle layer of the heart, and the endocardium is the innermost layer of the heart. Now, this pericardium is divided into two: the parental pericardium and the visceral pericardium. So the parental pericardium is at the outermost part of the heart, and the parental pericardium is at the outermost region of the heart, which joins the heart to the mediastinum, and the visceral layers is found immediately after the pericardial cavity or the pericardial space. So the pericardial cavity is the space between the pericardial, the parental pericardium and the visceral pericardium or the visceral layers. So that pericardial cavity secretes fluid. This pericardial cavity is also known as the pericardial space. It secretes fluid in order to reduce the friction within these layers. So we have the epicardium, which is the outermost layer of the heart. We have the myocardium, middle layer of the heart, and they are made up of cardiac muscles. And they are responsible for the pumping action of the heart. So here's a question for you: which layer is responsible for the constant pumping action of the heart? Is the myocardium. And endocardium, the inner lining, continues with blood vessels endothelium. So the pericardium or the epicardium continues with the outer protective layer of the blood vessels called the external adventitia, while the myocardium is the thicker layer composed of cardiac muscles which are responsible for the pumping action of the heart, and the endocardium continues with the inner lining of the blood vessels called the endothelium. So this is what you have to know for the layers of the heart. Now, we have the cardiac cycle. But before we dive into the cardiac cycle, let's explain the structure of the heart.